Hey, I'm your host, the Dr. Danko, come on in. You've been missing out, so let's begin. Pumpkin_crumb is your host here too. When you hear the beat, you know what to do. Why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me now? Why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me? Hey. Good evening and welcome to Why Did Not You Warn Me? I'm your host, Matthew, the Dr. Danko.
And I'm Hillary Crum, your co-host.
My overheated co-host.
Overheated, dying, emotionally distraught co-host.
There's a lot going on here, so
if we're not at the top of our game today...
And this is probably going to be a shorter episode because this week has been rough.
Yeah, the last 24 hours have been rough.
That's true. So yesterday, today's Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day to all the mothers listening. Mine
Mrs.
in particular.
Danko, a special nod.
Yes.
Hope you enjoyed the raspberry bread.
Yeah, my dad loved it, so.
Well, I didn't make it for him.
No, I mean, you didn't. But yeah, hopefully my mom gets in there and I'm sure she'll message us and tell us how much she loved it. But
no pressure though.
Yeah, no
Whatever.
pressure. But you know, you were gonna visit your mother on Mother's Day and your grandmother and basically like your whole family.
The whole clan. My family is a matriarchy, so we gather at my grandmother's retirement community for Mother's Day. Also, the reason, like, if I sound weird, I woke up sick this morning, so that's just on top of it. So we are about 4 hours, well, I was at work, so 5, from my grandmother's place. So I was in Maryland.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Just for geography.
So I got off work and I was going to drive and spend the evening with my mom and my grandma and my uncle and his boyfriend were in, and it was just going to be super nice and super fun. And then the next day we would have our family Mother's Day brunch gathering, and I was very excited. So I got almost literally exactly halfway there and my car broke down. I don't know if you're familiar with I-68. It's not bad as far as interstates go. I haven't really ever had a negative experience on 68.
And it's pretty much, I mean, we've driven that route a lot.
A bunch of times.
It's like, not a straight shot, but it's very easy to drive.
And it's very rarely crowded.
Yeah,
There's not usually a lot of traffic.
No, and we don't even go through DC or anything, really.
No, I mean, like, it's where, like, Deep Creek Lake is, so we would do that a lot. Yeah, but I got through Cumberland and like 20 miles farther south, my car stopped accelerating and flashed some angry lights, and I pulled over on the side of the road and immediately started crying because that's
understandably though
how I decided to handle it. So I called Matt, and Matt was at work. I knew Matt was at work, but I thought maybe on the off chance that he had just been released.
Yeah. We were expecting to get released early because of the thunderstorms. Which, you know, the thunderstorms prevented us from continuing our workday, but, you know, we waited it out a little bit and then shut everything down. But so I didn't get the call immediately.
So when I called and you didn't answer, I sent a text detailing everything that was happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then I called my mom because I don't have roadside assistance. And I called my mommy.
I mean, that's what you do. You call the people you know. Like,
right. Yeah.
That are close to you to try to figure out a way to fix what the problem is.
And at that point, I was literally halfway between both sets of people that care about me. Matt, you'll be honored to know you did get the first call because, you know, first of all, I love you. Second of all, I figured you were more likely to be directly helpful in that situation.
Yeah.
And I was right, because about 20 minutes later, you called me back, at which point I was, like, fully hysterically sobbing. Like, I'm not a person given to hysterics.
Right.
Was that the first time in our relationship that I've been, like, hysterical? No. I think there was one other.
When?
My brother debacle.
Oh, that's a different situation. I think, like, yeah, the first, like, you're by yourself, you don't know what to do type situation. Like, I was with you during that other time.
Right. So that wasn't really hysterics.
No,
that was
sad. Just a bad situation.
Right. So this
this, like, where we were sort of, you know, on our own schedules, doing our own different things, and then all of a sudden you need help because I'm not there like I normally am.
Right. And, like, I don't have data on my phone, so I couldn't just look up anything.
Yeah.
I also realized that the manual for that car
is
still in our apartment.
I know.
So.
I was thinking about that when I was driving to you. I was like, God damn it. I didn't even put it back in the car, so, like, I can't even have you look up some things on what it might be.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to do. Yeah. But nothing.
We're going to put that back in your vehicle.
Yeah. I had also decided, like, 20 minutes before the car stopped that, because I had just talked to my mom and figured out what their plan was for the evening, and they were going to wait for me and then we were all going to go out to dinner, and I was like, okay, so I won't stop for fast food or to pee, because I only had, like, 2 hours left. I'll be fine. I can make it. So there I am on the side of I-68. Daylight. Not in, like, a populated area. Like, there were some houses nearby, but, you know, it wasn't... You know, it was the side of the road, but as far as being broken down on the side of the road goes, it could have been a lot worse.
Right.
So then you got off work, like 20 minutes.
Yeah, this was like 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Right. So then you called me.
Yeah.
And I was melting down, and you immediately, as I knew you would, offered to come get me.
I was already on my way, basically. Like, I mean, granted, I have to go that way home, but I was already planning, like, okay, so I'm gonna, you know, just go as far as I can go and try to find you on the side of the road, because really, what are you to do? Like, yes, you could call a tow truck, but you would have to outsource that.
Right.
And I was in the car on my way, like, home from work, and it was going to be some time, because I was planning on going to that party, the exchange party. So, like, I was already prepared to
people. Yes. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
To them.
Oh, sorry. Okay. Yeah, that's what
sorry, I ruined your party, guys.
No, they seem to have a fun time. I just wasn't there. But we're all going to get together soon anyway. But, like, I was planning on not even getting to stop home because I was going to get out at a time where, like, you know, I didn't want to be late to that party.
Right.
So I would just go in my work clothes and everything like that.
Aww.
So, like, I was preparing because they were also doing, like, a cookout type thing. So I hadn't eaten either.
Right.
After work. And I was like, okay, now she's broken down. So I'm going to see, like, where I get to, how the weather's going, to see if I can sort of get food before I meet you, so that we can both eat, because we're both starving at this point. But it started to get dark.
And it was raining.
Yeah, and I did not want you to be that much longer by yourself on the side of the road in your car.
Yeah, I mean, and thankfully, it was really only fully dark for, like, maybe an hour, probably less. I ended up sitting in my car for, like, 4 hours all total. Which, again, could have been worse.
Right.
Like, yeah, so that was terrible.
Yeah, so when I got there was very little I could actually do. Like, I tried starting it up again and jumping the battery, and it just wouldn't turn over, and I don't know what it was. We're going to have to look at it this week. Luckily, my dad's friends with a tow company. Not a tow company. He's a mechanic that, like, has his own shop.
Friends with a tow truck.
Yep.
They hang out.
So we're going to get that taken care of this week, but it just sucked.
Yeah.
But
I love that car. Like, we went to Utah and back in that car. The car's name is Falstaff. He's my special boy. Yeah. I love him.
He's great.
Yeah,
and, like,
he's been very good to us.
never done anything like this before.
Hondas are not supposed to do this.
No.
And, like, we're you know, the oil is due, but it's not over.
Not enough for it to just not turn on or to stop in the middle.
Coolant. Like, I had half a tank of gas. So that was everybody's first question was, is there gas in the car? And I'm like, fuck you all. Yes, there's gas in the car.
I think that's more of just like a start with the basics.
But like
turn it on and off again.
I understand why AAA asked if there was gas in the car, because they don't know me. But anyone who's ever met me, I put gas in the car the night before because my plan was that, the night before, so then I'd be able to do my morning commute and then get to Maryland where the gas is cheaper and be able to fill up there.
No.
Like, I had it planned out.
Yeah.
I was ready. I'm a planner. That's what I do.
It's lucky that I had AAA.
Seriously. And we all learned, or I learned, Matt already knew, that AAA covers the driver and not the car.
Member of AAA versus the actual vehicle, because it's not the insurance or anything that we have. We just have like the AAA roadside assistance. And my mom got the plus version of it because I was traveling all the time, just to basically anywhere on the East Coast. And then when we went out to Utah, she's like, make sure you have your AAA card and all that other stuff. And like AAA is good for hotels and stuff for discounts and certain...
You get a discount at the zoo, but you have to buy tickets on AAA's website. We can't do that on our computer. I say 4 million times a day to everyone who asks me that.
Yeah. Well, because people don't read the shit. They just do I get a discount?
Like, not right now, Stu. I can't say that.
It's fine. Nobody's listening. So that was our yesterday. We got home at like 2:30.
Yeah.
But it could have been way worse.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I mean, getting the car towed like 2 hours back to Pittsburgh only put us out $88.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Because, with the AAA Plus membership, they cover the first 100 miles for free, and then $4 after that. Per mile after that.
My mother, P.S., still does not believe that
I don't
that's
know what to
the
tell
situation.
her.
Like, also, we've literally, it's over.
Yeah,
we did it. It happened. She just, I mentioned it, and I gave, the whole spiel, and she just changed the subject really quickly. And I'm like, whatever. Okay. That's fine. You don't believe me.
All we did was spend $88.
All you did was spend $88.
Because it was a collective process. Collective. Anyways, so now we're here. So,
and we're tired.
Yes, we're exhausted. That's why we're doing this at 5 before our evening kicks off.
Because we also, it would have been very easy to just not do one today.
Yeah, I was fully prepared to not do one today.
But I was insistent because...
And that's good. I do need that push, but
Exactly.
I'm already freaking out about work tomorrow, so I'm...
I'm, dying and half awake. Obviously I'm coughing, and I just feel very tired, and I have to work 12 hours with infants tomorrow. Oh, I started a new job. I work with infants now.
And they're cute little babies.
I love them. I want to take almost all of them home with me, all the time. And they're nice, and I'm not particularly a huge fan of body fluids, but this one little girl, stuck all of my fingers in her mouth, and I had drool, down to my elbow, and it just didn't even bother me.
That's cute.
Super cute. Babies are great. I highly recommend babies. Hint, hint. No, I'm kidding.
Well, all right.
We gotta go. No, I'm kidding.
So what have you been reading this week?
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, that's the format of the show.
Right. Yeah, because unfortunately I actually read a really good book, which means I'm gonna have to talk about it. So... I, by crazy random happenstance, picked up a book called The Radium Girls because I had a vague memory of a theater in my hometown doing a play with the same title. Mm-hmm. So I read the back, and it just sounded really cool. So the book is The Radium Girls by Kate Moore. And it tells the story of... So in the 1920s, there was this big, calling it a radium boom sounds so weird, but
I mean, that's fine.
That's
the new
sort of
element.
What it was. Yeah. It was this hot new thing. They were putting radium in everything. They were using it in medicines. There was a drink that rich people could buy called, I think, Radithor. It was water, but the bottle that it was in had radium in the plastic, and people were drinking it like it was a health elixir because nobody had any idea what radium could do to you, despite the fact that the Curies who discovered this element were very forthright about, they noticed that, if they were handling it, they would get lesions on their hands and, just not great for being in contact with humans. So radium is the new big thing. And one of the offshoots of that is that this company the Radium Dial Corporation gets into the business of painting watch dials with radium so that they light up. And to make this production happen, they get young girls, basically, who would get a typical factory job, and they hand paint these dials with this radium-based paint. And the way the girls are instructed to paint these to get the precision that they need, they have these very thin camel hair paintbrushes that they put into their mouth and like twirl them to get them, nice and stiff. Yeah. And so the formula was lip dip paint over and over and over again.
Jeez.
So not only are the girls putting radium directly in their mouth, they would also, there was just so much radium all over everything at work that these girls were literally glowing. And they would purposefully wear their going out dresses to the factory, because then when they would go out, their dresses were luminous. Their supervisors were like, you can do your makeup with radium. It's crazy.
That's nuts.
And so obviously, these girls start getting sick.
Yeah.
Just disgusting sick. Most of it started in their jaw, with tooth pain, and so they would remove the affected tooth, and the hole would not heal, and eventually the infection would spread and parts of their jaw would fall off. And
it's so nuts. This actually happened. So
this is a real thing.
Yeah.
This is not sci-fi. This is American history.
That's god awful.
And the company that most of the book was about was in Orange, New Jersey, which is near Newark. I think is how you say that.
Newark? Yeah.
Newark.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, close by. And eventually, enough of these girls got very, very, very sick. One of them died, and, they were... eventually somebody put it together that they had all worked for this company. So one of them had the idea to go to this company and ask for compensation. The standards for workman's comp were very different from what they are now. They were almost non-existent. There was a statute of limitations. So by the time radium poisoning kicks in, you might not have been working there for years. So it's outside the statute of limitations. So, shit out of luck. Also, nobody could figure out what it was for a really long time, because there was all of this positive literature about radium. Nobody could believe that could be what was hurting these people. So basically, it just, it got so crazy, and I'm not going to do it justice right now because I'm not feeling well, but, these girls keep getting sick and keep dying and keep suing, trying to get, the compensation that they deserve. And this company will not give it to them. They hire a fake doctor to falsify these reports.
Everything you were telling me, they go through extreme lengths to not only discredit these women, to basically to almost to the point of faking test results.
Yeah, literally. They're falsifying medical records.
Yeah, and choosing okay, well, we won't see the ones that are actually have radium poisoning. So we'll look at these healthy women more or less, and then just be nope, didn't find anything.
And they just kept spreading this propaganda that it was not the radium, that the company was not at all liable. So there was the company in Newark, and then there was a different company doing the same thing in Ottawa, Illinois. And the stuff in New Jersey got litigated first. That was where all of this upheaval started. So the girls in Illinois started hearing about all of this and got very nervous going to work for this company where they had to put radium in their fucking mouths. So the company took out this full page ad in the local newspaper, basically spouting all of the facts that aren't facts about how radium is not dangerous and you guys are all fine. And like that was the company where, people started saying, maybe you should get these girls examined. So they picked only the girls that did not look sick and examined them and said, we selected a random group of girls and they're all fine.
Yeah.
And like one of the sick girls went to this company and said, I am getting sick and I think it's because of what I'm doing at work and XYZ is the proof of what's happening. And her supervisor was like, you're not sick, you're fine. Like, and she's like literally limping.
Yeah.
Oh, it was so bad. So these girls just fight and fight and fight and fight and fight. And ultimately they did get justice. They didn't get anything near what they should have gotten in terms of compensation, because like the company eventually, the one in Illinois, just packed up and left. And they, quote, didn't tell anyone where they were going, and it's not the age of the internet, so they weren't as easy to find. But there was only like a $10,000 like lump of money that was even accessible for the compensation for probably like 15, 20 women who had just thousands of dollars in medical debt by this point. Yeah, so they had to divide that amongst the few that finally won, and the company just kept appealing over and over and over and over again that they were not liable for this, until the Supreme Court shut them down and said, yes, the fuck you are. Move on. Yeah, so eventually workman's comp actually got changed to actually benefit people who get injured at work.
Yeah.
And sort of the direct result of that was the creation of OSHA. Yeah. So now there are standards in place for having to deal with unsafe chemicals in the workplace.
Yeah, all that shit.
Yeah, and like on the coattails of that, like, so that era ended, and then immediately the Manhattan Project started, and everybody's talking about how amazing plutonium is. And somebody working on the Manhattan Project, one of the scientists, was like, all those girls got sick from radium. We should maybe look into plutonium a little bit more. And they outlined like safe procedures for handling it and working with it.
That's cool, at least.
Yeah, so at the very least, the legacy meant something, even if the majority of the girls died in incredible agony and poverty.
Yeah, like falling apart, like literally, like pieces of them falling off and shit like that.
This girl, like, one of the court cases, she pulled out a box, and her lawyer, knowing exactly what was in the box, said, what do you have there? She opened it, and it was pieces of her jawbone.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so awful.
Yeah, and like, I don't read a lot of nonfiction, and I didn't actually know that it was nonfiction when I picked it. I thought, well, I knew it was nonfiction. I sort of thought it was going to be novelized, but...
Yeah, like using the sort of outlines of a real
like
event
a historical
or
fiction
something.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it wasn't. But I tore through it. I was fascinated.
And like every few pages, you turn to me and be like, so in this book...
Right, so this is what's fucking happening right now that we need to talk about.
It's crazy stuff,
One of the first doctors that examined them, this part just blew my mind, was hired by the Radium Dial Corporation to check into these claims. And eventually, when a lawyer started handling this, that doctor had done like blood tests, medical exams, stuff like that. So this lawyer, went to the American Medical Association and was like, I have some questions about this particular doctor. And they were like, we don't have a record of that person. The doctor, air quotes, did not have a medical doctorate. He had a degree in philosophy.
Oh, I remember that.
Like, so doctor was a title he could claim, but he was not an MD.
That's fucked up.
It's insane. It just kept piling on. And like this female reporter that looked into it, the head of this company was like, she won't leave me alone. I tried flattering her, and she was like, ugh.
Oh, man.
So
yeah, it blows my mind that actually happened.
And like, I had never heard of that before.
No.
Not in any science class, not anything.
That's nuts, though.
Yeah. Like, that should be standard high school science.
That's like a big part of history, and like, if it did so much so as to like create OSHA, basically.
Right, which everyone has to deal with at some point.
Yeah, like at Bush, we were just, OSHA was suggested.
Right, OSHA was a nice idea.
Yeah.
And it's sort of, now if you go to your supervisor and say, hey, I don't feel comfortable handling this chemical that I think might be hazardous, they won't say, it'll put color in your cheeks.
Yeah.
They'll say, great, take some PPE.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
That's nuts.
Yeah, read the Radium Girls because it blew my mind.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a movie.
Yeah, I think so. There's the place in Illinois, there was a movie made about that city because they tried to eventually tear down the building that this radium factory was in, because anything they tried to turn the factory into, people kept like disproportionately dying of cancer.
Yeah.
So they demolished the building and threw out the pieces like in landfills around this city, and so then everything was radioactive because radium has a half-life of 1,600 years.
Yep.
So as of 2015, they were still working on the cleanup.
Yikes.
Yeah, don't fuck around with radium, kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what have you been watching?
Nothing as exciting as that. No, I mean, I rewatched, or I watched for the first time, rather, season 4 of Arrested Development, the remix season, Fateful Consequences. And, you know, I went to watch it, but what I was hoping was I'd be able to watch the original season 4 that they made for Netflix.
To compare it.
But they took that off and just put up the remix, which is fine. But if I recall correctly, the season 4 that they made first, it might have been like 12 episodes, but they were like 45 minutes long because, you know, it's Netflix and the episodes were usually like 20 minutes long for television. But each episode focused on sort of one person, and then, you know, due to scheduling conflicts and whatnot, because I couldn't get everyone in the same room at the same time for some things, they'd be green screened in a really weird way. And it was pretty noticeable, to say the least. But this new remix season takes all of that footage from those 12 episodes and makes it into 22 episodes, like a normal season.
Oh, cool.
And now they're 20-minute episodes again.
Perfect.
And it also, like I said, I don't have the original season to compare it to. It seems like they reshot a lot of shit because there was like new information that connected a lot of the dots that weren't connected before. And like it would make sense if they went back and reshot some things because they're making a season 5 or they've already made it and it's going to air soon. But there was just a lot of new pieces that like I didn't notice when I watched the original season 4. And like a lot of information in 20-minute episodes because the narrator's doing a lot of the work. But it seemed like he was explaining everything, whereas in the original 3 seasons, he would chime in every now and then.
Okay.
And let the actors act. But in like the first few episodes, it was just like nonstop narration. And it was kind of weird, but I think overall, it flows a little bit better than the original season 4. It feels a lot more like the original show. There are just a few things that changed that I, you know, wish didn't. Like they do this bit where they show footage from previous seasons, like, you know, sort of like the Previously On, but
right.
You know, anytime they're flashing back to a moment to like recall so that you have it in your head for that episode. In the original season 4, they had a watermark on it that says like Show Stealer 2.0 FLV, which for people who download shit online, downloading videos is usually like you have to buy a program to do that, or you can get the free trial version, but the free trial version has a watermark on it so that, you know, you can't really enjoy it to the fullest. So they would do that bit on it. And then now that they've revamped this season, they put property of 21st Century Fox because that was the company that it was under. Which is a small gripe, but it, you know, it was just cool to see it because for somebody who has downloaded a lot of shit and have gotten free trials before, and I'm like, God damn those watermarks. It was just hilarious. And it was different because I was watching this on our television instead of my computer like I watched the other season. So I didn't notice it. But in the original season 4, sporadically throughout some of the episodes, there would be these noises embedded in the episode, like Instagram messages or Insta messages and like Facebook messages pinging, because it was supposed to make you pause the episode and like go to your Facebook tab that's probably still open and like check to see if you were messaged. It was a really clever, like sort of Andy Kaufman type comedy, to where like you think, oh, I have a Facebook message, I gotta pause this and go read it, and
so
then there's nothing there
with your viewer.
Yeah, exactly. And it was embedded throughout the entire like the 12 episodes or whatever, and like it got me so many times that I went back and I was like, that's weird. And then I watched it on a second go, or I heard it in another episode and I was like, it didn't happen, so let me rewind this episode. And I was like, oh, that's clever. They do shit like that all of the time. Like a lot of their running gags or even just the comedy is very subtle and sometimes often in the background, that you don't notice it in the first go, so that when you rewatch it you can pick up more shit. Like even rewatching all the 3 seasons, they were shit that I missed the first time around. So it's like holes. Yeah, exactly. And with season 4, you know, there's a lot of crazy plots that I can't really get into just because it's ridiculous. But I'm very curious what season 5 will bring, because basically in season 4, spoilers, somebody dies and it's pinned on one of the members of the Bluth family, and there's this whole thing about building a wall at the border of Mexico and all this other shit.
Were you just watching the news at that point?
Well, I'm sure. Well, the thing also about Arrested Development is they can be very timely with their comedy. And like during the first 3 seasons, there was this whole plot about the father building houses in Iraq, and they thought he was like committing treason or whatever, but basically he was building houses in Iraq for the U.S. government to like put up listening devices and stuff like that. And there's this whole Saddam Hussein plot line that's embedded in there. And there's like, okay, so there's this time where they're basically, this family is always on the news for something, and the Bluth company is put in the news for it's through the Bluth company, but there's a photo that gets put on the news that's they're hiding WMDs in Iraq, and they show this like landscape and like this is where they are and stuff like that. But in the episode, what happens is one of the characters is in the bathtub operating a new smartphone and accidentally takes a picture of their balls. And because of the way it looks up close, like the news spins it to make it seem like there are WMDs in Iraq, but it's really just this...
His balls.
His balls, yeah.
It's very sophisticated.
I know, but it's just very funny how they do it.
This is what you do when I'm not here.
No, it's like the same kind of comedy the Community is, and like those type of shows. It's just
a little like off color.
A little
not
bit,
in a bad way. Just,
no,
as a style.
I mean, it can be, but normally the people that are making those jokes are the people that you're not really supposed to like. Like it's supposed to emphasize the fact that they're terrible people. Like a lot of the Bluth family aren't great people,
right?
And I mean, you watched a little bit of the first season and just weren't interested in it.
Not at all.
And that's fine. But like Michael Cera's character, it's just funny. And the whole relationship between him and his dad is funny. And like they bring this whole plot line about making a movie about the Bluth family. So Michael Bluth is about Jason Bateman's character is going to get all of the likeness rights to all of his family and all this other shit. And then Ron Howard's set to direct it. And Ron Howard's the narrator of the show and shit like that. It's very meta humor as well. And there's another whole plot line between Tony Wonder, who is played by Ben Stiller. He's this magician, Tony Wonder, that basically anytime somebody says one, like, I wonder where he is, he like pops out. And it's like, I'm right here and stuff like that. But he has this whole storyline where he's gay and using it in his act, like, I'm here, I'm queer, now I'm over here, and stuff like that. But the other magician, Will Arnett, Job, George Oscar Bluth is the name. He's a magician too, a failing magician basically, and he convinces Tony that he's gay. And even though both of them aren't gay, like Tony Wonder was doing it for publicity.
Why did not you warn me?
Yes. And trying to revamp his act. Job was doing it to sort of get back at Tony Wonder for something, but through their constant like conning of the other, they sort of realize they have a lot in common and end up wanting to be in a relationship together, but they just don't admit it at first. And it's just one of my favorite storylines in that show. So I'm very curious what season 5 will bring. And Terry Crews was actually in season 4. He played the politician that was for the wall, and then against the wall, and then all this other shit.
Okay. This other shit.
Yeah. And, actually, Michael Cera's character, his plot line is that he's creating what he calls Fake Block, which is supposed to be this... Everyone thinks it's this privacy software, sort of like the anti-Facebook, where it like goes out and finds all of your information online and just deletes it and like does shit like that. But what Fake Block really is this woodblock app that he's developed, and this lie has got really out of control because there's this plot where he's like great at a woodblock instrument because he has very good internal time and like can know when notes and shit are going to end, and it's basically a misunderstanding what happens. He like changes his whole lifestyle and people think he's this like Mark Zuckerberg type that's creating this anti-piracy software, and his whole goal when starting college was to sort of push away from his family and create a new life for him. So this gives him that opportunity and gets really nuts. But it's a great season. I definitely recommend watching it even with the rewrites and re-edits, and there is a lot of information in it, and a whole Fantastic Four musical is thrown in there too. It's very wacky. It makes way more sense spread out over 22 episodes as opposed to jamming it all into 12.
Okay.
Or however many it originally was, but yeah.
Good.
So that's what I've been watching.
We also finally finished season 2 of Doctor Who.
Yes, we watched the finale the other day.
The 2-part finale. That was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember the episode titles. It doesn't matter. It's the end of Tennant and Rose.
The end Spoilers. Of Rose, finally.
Yes.
I had very little patience for Rose through most of this.
Yeah, upon rewatching it, she has started to wear off on me after like my second rewatch.
Okay.
Like, I was very into it with Eccleston and then Tennant, like, their characters. And I'll probably always, like, upon first viewing, be super into it. But then on rewatching it, I sort of can analyze it more and not pay attention as much.
Right.
Pay attention to other things, I should say. And her character was just very flat and just didn't grip me.
But, like, that being said, Tennant is amazing.
Yeah?
He had, like, this just lively, childlike energy, which is, it's super fun the whole time, but then when he loses Rose, and he's sad about that, the difference, the change there is very, very heartbreaking.
Yeah, you said this when we were watching, but he does have a good, he can emote very well.
Yeah, it's a very expressive face.
Yes, very much so. And I do think, because you're going to see it, probably it's going to start to come out more this season, but definitely when we get to Donna, which she's introduced in the end of that episode, sort of to offset the emotional reckoning that happens between Rose.
Then there's the woman in the wedding dress.
Yeah, who's like, what the hell is this place? And like, it cuts out, and he's just like, what? What's going on?
Right.
But he can turn on a dime from being that happy, funny, bouncy character to being like, you don't want to piss this guy off. We've seen it a few times throughout, but I think it works better if the character that he's with at the time isn't the one he's meant to be in love with.
Yeah, like somebody that he can play off instead of...
But also, like, because with Martha and Tennant, Martha's in love with him, but he's still stuck on Rose.
Okay.
With Donna, they're just straight up friends. There's no romantic relationship at all.
That sounds way more fun.
Yeah, and it's definitely way better when they're friends versus a love interest type thing. And that doesn't really happen in any other seasons other than the one with Rose. I don't know what's going to happen in the future. I hope they make it make sense, but if that's how they decide to go. But so with Donna, it's basically like, I will do anything for this person because they're traveling with me, they're my responsibility, they're my friend, I don't want to lose them.
Okay.
Versus, there's the love of my life and this is awful and I'm whiny about it.
Yeah, it's like the love of each other's lives, it never came across to me.
Yeah, and I think that's lost a lot of the time, well, in a lot of the episodes, because it's jumping from one doctor to the next so quickly.
So it doesn't feel like there's continuity.
Yeah, if she had time to like be with Eccleston's doctor,
right,
then maybe, the one season with Tennant would feel like, okay, so she's adjusting to this new lifestyle, raise some more conflicts, but then ultimately this guy hasn't changed, so he's still just as in love with her.
Right.
And then he loses her, and that's like devastating for him.
Right.
But yeah, definitely the friendship, like the companion doctor relationship, I think works way better as like friends. You'll see it a lot with Amy. It's a little different because
that's a love thing.
It's not a love thing. I mean, he does show up on her the night before her wedding, and she's all about like running away with this strange man because she's sort of getting cold feet about her wedding and all this other shit.
Yeah, I've listened to Chameleon Circuit.
Yeah. But it's definitely friendship, but because she met him when she was like 9 years old first.
Okay.
And then he's like, I'll pop off real quick to reset the TARDIS and then I'll be back, basically. And then it was 8 years or 16 years or something ridiculously like long.
8 or 16 or 24 or 32, Multiples of 8.
Right. So she thought her whole life that when they first met, it was just her imaginary friend.
Gotcha.
And like she
had
to see
spoil all of this
therapists. No, this isn't spoiling. You find this all out in the first episodes.
Well, we haven't gotten to the first episode.
I know,
yet.
but it's fine. But basically, it's you, and you've listened to Chameleon Circuit, so you know.
I know the basic gist.
Yeah,
I don't know the imaginary friend thing.
Yes, you do. It's in one of the songs.
Which song?
I don't remember, but I know it's there.
If it's in the first album, I don't know.
It's in the songs. Listen to the songs. No. Anyways, it's you're in for a treat.
Great.
We're gonna start season 3 of Buffy tonight.
Yes, we are. It's gonna be all dramatic.
Either before or after Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Probably after.
Yeah.
No, well,
I don't know.
Go to bed after.
Yeah.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine though got canceled for a full 24 hours before it got picked up by NBC.
I know, there was such a scramble, a ramble scramble. When it was announced that it was canceled, and like all the cast members were like tweeting like, this has been such an amazing experience, I'm gonna miss everyone,
and all of the millennials were like, absolutely, what the fuck is happening?
Right. And then all these networks were scrambling to pick it up.
Yeah,
because
we sort of figured
it's a hot commodity. Right. It's a good show, it's well written, the people that are running the show like know what they're doing.
Yeah.
But Fox, which is notorious for canceling shows like Arrested Development and whatnot.
Was Firefly Fox?
I want to say.
Or Dollhouse? I think they might have both.
They probably were. Been. A lot of those type shows were on Fox.
Shows that are like big cult favorites.
Yeah. A lot of the time they get axed or they get moved and then they lose their ratings. And that's what happened to Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Well, but it got moved and I thought that improved its ratings.
For a little bit, but then it fell back down.
Yeah, I mean, because the thing with like Brooklyn Nine-Nine's following is young people, and young people stream things illegally.
Yeah.
So the typical way rating if anyone is watching the show is just sort of fucked.
Yeah.
So, we might start off with the best of intentions. The first couple of episodes, yes, Sunday, 8:30, gotta be there. But then it's like, oh, I'm busy, or oh, I forgot, I can just get it online. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. We just default to, I can just watch it online when it's convenient for me.
Right, and it's
the thing is, it's on free television. It's not like we're paying for cable to watch it.
Right, and we've made a habit of it the past couple of weeks of sitting down at 8:30 on a Sunday, just before bed, because we're elderly.
Yeah. But it makes sense because definitely its demographic is of the streaming variety, so I was really hoping Netflix would pick it up.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
Because then they could there's a lot more freedom with Netflix. I mean, Netflix is, like, even though Arrested Development was Fox, when Netflix picked it up, on the title cards it says, like, a semi-Netflix original and shit like that. Because, like, those type of shows you can watch binging, which like Arrested Development in particular, because of how much shit is thrown into it, it's sort of meant to be binge watched, and Netflix makes that very easy and it's like the format that Arrested Development needed when Arrested Development was on the air.
I'm wondering if, and I mean, you might have more knowledge, you will have more knowledge on this than I would, do you think that NBC is going to change things about Brooklyn Nine-Nine? I mean, what I would hope is the deal is take it as is.
I wouldn't.
It's so good.
I wouldn't think. Like, it didn't even occur to me that it was on Fox, because all of the other shows are NBC shows, like Good Place and The Office and Parks and Rec.
Okay.
The Good Place might not be. That might be ABC, but they have a good relationship with NBC, and NBC has done, Saturday Night Live and 30 Rock, so...
And Andy Samberg is one of the producers.
Yeah.
And I can't see him compromising the show quality just to keep it on the air.
No. He's had a vision for the show since its beginning, and, the show is basically written for him.
Right.
To be Jake Peralta. So, I definitely think they're going to treat it right. Yeah, I don't really see the quality changing. Okay. Especially, even though it's changing networks, it's not going to change writers. Okay.
Because their formula works.
It might change writers, but the people, basically running the project, like Michael Schur and all those people, they're going to be saying yes and no's, I would imagine. But yeah, I think it might even do better on NBC. Especially with, New Girl ending and leaving. Yeah. So. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was really all I wanted to talk about.
Yeah, that was it.
I don't really have anything else.
Yeah, we haven't really watched much else. We're on Gilmore Girls season 4.
And maybe still 3.
Maybe.
I've been watching, I get home and I turn on Gilmore Girls because it's the comfort food of television. And I've been working full-time for the last week, which is more than I've done in a while. And, I get home from a, 10-hour shift at the daycare, and I am dead as soon as I enter our apartment.
Yeah.
Babies are a lot of work.
So I'm sort of popping in and out of that. I'm rewatching season 1 of Scream because a lot of shit had happened that I didn't remember when watching season 2, and it's very sad because in the first episode we get introduced to a character that's revealed later on to be shitty, and that just broke my heart because I was so on his side for season 2. No, you're fine. But yeah, so apparently that's getting a 3rd season. Don't know what it'll do, especially after the way season 2 ended, which was weird.
Oh, go ahead.
No.
I was going to say, did I tell you that the first time I watched Buffy, I accidentally watched season 2 first?
No, maybe.
So, the introduction of Angel, the big reveal that he's a vampire,
Oh, wait, that's at the end of season 1.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, so I
season
watched...
1's short, that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
I just missed season 1's existence entirely, so we just jumped right in. Maybe it felt kind of weird, I don't remember... what I thought about it, but then I went back and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah. So, getting introduced to the murderer in the beginning.
Right.
You're like, oh shit. Yeah. Not that Angel's the murderer.
Right.
In Scream. I was relating it to your life. I'm
Okay.
tired.
Well,
I don't feel well. I'm done with this.
The other thing was I watched season 1 first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I watched season 1.
Oh, you went back.
I went back to season 1 and rewatched it.
I understand.
It's fine.
So my whole little side anecdote there, just not relevant. It's fine.
It's fine.
I'm not offended. I just
Good.
recognize my place.
All right, guys. So that's it for this week of Why Did Not You Warn Me? Thank you for bearing with us through this Ramble Sprambles of an episode.
I'm sorry about the Ramble Spramble.
It's okay.
Not going to explain Ramble Spramble.
It's just rainbow sprinkles.
But I was out of my brain, so Ramble Spramble. Why did not you warn me?
Yeah, that's what happens in our life.
All right, it's been real.
Yeah, it's been fun. It's been real fun. Well, all right. At least we're home safe.
Yes.
And happy Mother's Day to all the mothers.
To all the moms out there.
Yep. Bye. Once the show ends, please don't shed those tears. We'll come back again, so have no fear. Oh, we told you that it just might end up this way. What's the show called again? You cannot be saying, why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me now? Why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me?